Before we begin this journey into the darkest corners of the internet, into threads that still haunt those who stumbled upon them, into mysteries that law enforcement abandoned because they had no answers, I need you to understand something. What you're about to hear isn't fiction. These are real posts from real people, real confessions, real cries for help that went unanswered, real mysteries that remain unsolved to this very day. And if you're brave enough to stay until the end, if you can handle what's coming, then do me one favor right now. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that like. Because channels like this, channels that dig into the truth, that refuse to sugarcoat reality, we only survive because of viewers like you. So subscribe, like this video, and let's descend together into the abyss. The internet is forever. Every word you type, every confession you make, every secret you share behind the mask of anonymity, it's all still out there, floating in the digital void, waiting to be discovered. And some of these discoveries, some of these threads, they change you. They make you question everything you thought you knew about human nature, about safety, about the world we live in. Tonight, we're exploring anonymous threads that terrified millions, stories that investigators couldn't solve, mysteries that remain open cases, confessions that led to nothing, and disappearances that no one can explain. Let me start with something simple. Something that could happen to anyone. Something that probably has happened to someone you know. You come home from work, exhausted. The fluorescent lights from your office still burning behind your eyes. You climb the stairs to your apartment. 3rd floor. Same routine you've done 1,000 times. You unlock the door. You smell the familiar scent of home. Maybe last night's dinner. Maybe just the dusty warmth of your small space. And you collapse onto your couch, just for a minute, just to rest your eyes. You wake up hours later to hands shaking you violently, a voice shouting, "What the hell are you doing in my apartment?" You jolt awake, heart pounding, completely disoriented. There's a man standing over you, his face gaunt, covered in sweat, his eyes wide with rage or fear, you can't tell which. "Get up," he demands. "Get out of my apartment." But this is your apartment. You live here. You've lived here for months. This is your couch, your coffee table, your living room. You tell him this, trying to keep your voice steady, trying not to panic. He takes a step back, half merging with the shadows near the doorway. "Are you out of your damn mind?" he says. "I live in 3B. What are you even doing here?" "You are in 3B. This is your apartment. You don't know this man. You've never seen him before in your life. You threaten to call the police if he doesn't leave immediately." He laughs, a sharp, bitter sound. "Oh, I need to leave. You broke into my place and you're threatening me?" You notice things then, small things. An owl mug on your coffee table that you don't recognize. A jacket hanging by the door that isn't yours. Photos on the wall of people you've never met. Your mind starts racing. Did you walk into the wrong apartment? But no, you used your key. Your key worked in the lock. This is definitely 3B. The argument escalates. Neither of you backing down. Both of you absolutely convinced this is your home. And then it hits you. Both of your keys work. Both of you have mail addressed to this apartment. Both of you have been living here. But how? How is that possible? This actually happened. Posted on Reddit by someone desperately seeking answers. The thread exploded with theories: landlord scam, identity theft, parallel universe, shared psychosis, but no definitive answer ever emerged. The original poster never updated, never explained what happened, never told us who actually lived in apartment 3B. And that's the thing about these threads. They start with a mystery, they build with speculation, and they end with silence. Unsettling, unexplained silence. If you're already feeling uneasy, good. That means you understand what we're dealing with here. Before we go deeper, I need you to hit that like button. It tells the algorithm to share this with more people. And honestly, more people need to hear these stories. More people need to understand that the internet isn't just memes and cat videos. It's also confessions and mysteries and darkness. Now let me tell you about a house that should have stayed empty. A family finds the deal of a lifetime. A massive Victorian house in a good neighborhood. 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, original hardwood floors, crown molding, the kind of character you can't find in modern construction. And the price? Unbelievably low, almost suspiciously low. But the realtor explains it. There's a smell, a sour, persistent odor that permeates every room. Previous owners couldn't get rid of it, tried everything. Professional cleaners, air purifiers, nothing worked. So they're motivated to sell. The family thinks they can handle it. For this price, for this house, they can overlook a bad smell. They move in on a sunny afternoon. Their dogs, Chiefy and Miss Bear, love it immediately, running through the halls, barking with excitement, completely unbothered by the odor. The kids claim their rooms. The parents start unpacking. Everything seems perfect. The first few days are normal, wonderful even. The teenage daughter, Ari, explores every corner of the house, discovers little architectural quirks, hidden nooks, interesting angles. Old houses have personality, she thinks, character. But then she notices the gaps, spaces between walls that seem wider than they should be, openings that lead to passages, narrow corridors running parallel to the main rooms. She mentions it to her parents. They shrug it off. Old house, old construction. That's just how they built things back then. Don't worry about it. But she can't stop thinking about it. Can't stop noticing the muddy footprints that appear on their floors every morning, even though no one's been outside. Can't stop wondering why their groceries disappear so quickly. A can of soup she could have sworn was in the pantry yesterday. Gone. Fresh fruit vanishing overnight. Her 4-year-old brother, Kai, starts talking to himself, constantly, muttering in his room, having full conversations with someone who isn't there. When their mother asks who he's talking to, Kai looks confused. "My friend," he says simply. "What friend?" their mother presses. Kai shrugs. "I don't know." He can't describe this friend, can't name them, just refers to them as my friend, like it's the most natural thing in the world. Their 8-year-old daughter, Lena, feels it too, the wrongness of the house. "It's scary here," she tells Ari one afternoon. "It feels like we aren't the only ones living here." Ari tries to comfort her, tries to explain that it's just an old house, unfamiliar creaks and groans, nothing to worry about. But even as she says it, she doesn't quite believe it herself. The dogs, Chiefy and Miss Bear, who loved the house at first, start changing their behavior. During the day they're fine, playful, normal. But at night, when the house settles, when the walls begin their symphony of creaks and moans, the dogs growl, not at anything specific, just growling, into the darkness. Low, constant, worried sounds that put everyone on edge. One night, Ari is almost asleep when she feels something at her feet. One of the dogs sniffing her toes. She pushes it away with her heel, too tired to get up. "Stop," she mumbles. "Go." Heavy footfalls retreat from her room. She's drifting back to sleep when a scream tears through the house. Lena's scream, not a startled yelp or a nightmare cry. A real scream, a terrified something is very wrong scream. Ari bolts out of bed, heart hammering, and runs to her sister's room. Lena is sitting up in bed, back pressed against the wall, blanket pulled up to her eyes. Those eyes wide, petrified, staring at something in the corner of her room. "Someone's behind you," Lena whispers. Ari freezes, every instinct telling her not to turn around, not to look, but she has to. Slowly, she turns. In the darkness of the corner, she sees it. Maybe, or thinks she sees it. A shape, a figure, something that might be a person or might be a trick of shadows. She can't be sure. Her parents are coming down the hall. She flips on the light. The corner is empty. Nothing there. Just walls and floor and normal bedroom things. But they all feel it. The presence, the wrongness. Something is in this house with them. Something that doesn't want them here. Or worse, something that does want them here. That needs them here. The incidents escalate. Kai's imaginary friend becomes more persistent. He has longer conversations, responds to questions no one else can hear. Ari finds sand in a gap behind Kai's dresser. Old sand, disturbed recently, like something had been digging there or hiding there. The groceries continue to vanish. Not just small things now. Entire meals worth of food, cans, fresh produce, meat. Then comes the night that changes everything. Ari hears laughter, not from her siblings' rooms, not from the television, from inside the walls. Deep, guttural, horrible laughter that sounds barely human. It echoes through the passages between the walls, getting closer, getting louder. She hears footsteps. Quick, scurrying footsteps, like someone running on all fours. She grabs Kai and Lena. "We have to go now." No time to explain, no time to think. Just the primal understanding that they need to get out of this house immediately. They run down the stairs, that awful laughter chasing them. Footsteps right behind them, so close she can almost feel breath on her neck. They burst out the front door and don't stop running until they reach the neighbor's house. The police come, search the house top to bottom. Find nothing at first. The house is empty, they say. Whoever your daughter saw is gone. But then they find the passages, the spaces between the walls. They follow them down, deeper than anyone expected, into tunnels that open into a cave beneath the house. A den, a lair, littered with used soup cans, bean cans, soda cans, rotting fruit, spoiled meat. Someone has been living here, living in the walls, in the tunnels, under the house, feeding off the family's groceries, watching them, listening to them, terrorizing them. The police explain the truth. The previous family wasn't all murdered by the father. The wife and children were killed, but the father was never found. Everyone assumed he died too, or fled. But he didn't. He stayed, lived in the walls, in the darkness, waiting. And when this new family moved in, he started his games again, stealing food, moving objects, talking to the little boy, making the little girl see things in the night, laughing in the walls. The father was never caught, never found. To this day, he remains at large. The family moved immediately. New house, new city, reinforced windows, security systems, cameras. But they know the truth. He's still out there. Could be in anyone's walls. Could be watching right now. Take a breath. I know that's heavy, but we're just getting started. We're building to something. Trust me. Let me ask you something. Do you trust your roommate? The person you share your space with? You see them every day. You know their routines, their habits. You'd notice if something was wrong, right? But what if you wouldn't? What if the wrongness was so subtle, so gradual, that by the time you realized it, it was too late? Someone posted on Reddit about their roommate. Normal guy at first. Quiet, kept to himself, paid rent on time, no complaints. Perfect roommate, really, except for one thing. At night, the roommate would sit in the living room, in complete darkness, staring at the television, not watching. The TV would be on, playing whatever show happened to be airing. Sitcoms, dramas, doesn't matter. The roommate would just sit there, perfectly still, not blinking, not reacting, not laughing when the laugh track played, not moving during commercial breaks, just staring. The poster thought it was weird, but harmless. Maybe the guy had insomnia. Maybe he found it relaxing. People have strange habits. No big deal. Until the poster woke up one morning to find the roommate standing in their bedroom doorway, just standing there, staring. When confronted, the roommate turned and walked away without a word. No explanation, no apology, just silence. Then it got worse. The roommate started showing up at the poster's workplace, across the street, just standing there, watching. Same vacant expression, same unblinking stare. The poster confided in their sister, desperate for someone to believe them, to validate that this behavior was genuinely disturbing. The sister agreed to come over, talk to the roommate, mediate the situation. But as they're about to leave the sister's apartment, the poster looks out the window. The roommate is there, across the street, not moving, just watching the building. The sister tenses. Okay, that's weird, she admits. I'll go talk to him. She grabs her purse and heads downstairs. The poster watches from the window, watches their sister approach the roommate, watches them talk, though they can't hear what's being said. And then the thread ends, just stops. No update, no resolution, no explanation of what the sister learned or what happened next. The poster's account went dark, never posted again, never responded to comments, just vanished. Thousands of people read that thread. Thousands of theories emerged. The roommate was mentally ill. The roommate was dangerous. The poster was in danger. Something bad happened, but we'll never know, because the person who could tell us disappeared from the internet entirely. Now we need to talk about something that exists in plain sight, but operates in absolute darkness. The dark web. You've heard of it. Everyone has. The Silk Road. Drug marketplaces. Illegal services. But what most people don't know, what they can't even imagine, are the sites that make the Silk Road look like child's play. Sites so disturbing that even talking about them feels wrong. Pink Crystal. I can't say the full name because of content policies, but those who know, know. This site launched in the early 2000s when revenge content was becoming a serious problem. Before then, if someone wanted to share private images of an ex, they could maybe show a few friends. Maybe 20 people maximum. Embarrassing, yes. Damaging, absolutely. But contained. Small scale. Then the internet happened. Social media, email, file sharing. Suddenly, someone could destroy an ex's life with a few clicks, share intimate photos with thousands of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. And Pink Crystal was built specifically for this purpose, an image board where users could post non-consensual material, stolen photos, hacked images, content acquired without permission. There's a documented case of a woman I'll call Shelby for privacy reasons. College student in Texas, normal life, normal relationships, until one day she discovered her private photos on Pink Crystal. Photos she had never shared with anyone, never posted anywhere, completely private. Somehow, the site's administrators had hacked into her accounts and stolen them. When she contacted the site to remove them, they refused. More than that, they harassed her. They had a Twitter account where they would post links to newly uploaded content, and they would tag the victims, tag their social media profiles, rally their followers to harass these women. Shelby received death threats, threats of violence. Her dreams of joining law enforcement evaporated, her reputation destroyed, her privacy violated in the worst possible way. She sued, tried to hold someone accountable. But here's the truly horrifying part. No one knew who ran Pink Crystal. The domain was registered through untraceable services. The administrators used every available tool to hide their identities. The lawsuit went nowhere, and to this day, not a single person has been charged with running that site. Eventually, after public backlash, the site moved to the dark web where it operated for years before finally being shut down in 2014 by joint law enforcement action. But that's nothing compared to what I'm about to tell you. If Pink Crystal was disturbing, this next site is beyond comprehension, beyond human decency, beyond anything a sane person could imagine. Welcome to Video, launched in June 2015 on the dark web, and within months, it became the largest site of its kind ever discovered. Over 200,000 videos, not 200, not 2,000, 200,000 videos of the most heinous content imaginable. Content involving children, exploitation on a scale that defies belief. The site had over 1.2 million registered users. 1.2 million. That's larger than the population of many major cities. These weren't just lurkers. These were active participants, people uploading new content, people sharing their own crimes. Over 45% of the videos were unique, meaning they weren't recycled from other sites. These were new violations, new victims, active crimes being filmed and shared in real time. For 3 years, this site operated openly on the dark web. 3 years of law enforcement knowing it existed but struggling to shut it down, struggling to identify the people responsible. Finally, in 2018, Homeland Security and the IRS cracked the case. They followed Bitcoin transactions through the blockchain, traced the site back to South Korea, identified the creator, Sun Jong-woo, arrested him along with 337 other users. You'd think this would be a victory. Justice served, predators caught, children saved. And it was, partially. But here's what makes this story even more disturbing. Sun Jong-woo received an 18-month sentence. 18 months for running a site that facilitated the abuse of thousands of children. Why such a light sentence? Because he needed to support his family. That was the court's reasoning. He has a family to support, so we'll go easy on him. The United States tried to extradite him to face harsher charges. South Korea refused. And today, as far as we know, he walks free. The man who built the largest exploitation site in history served 18 months, and returned to normal life. Think about that. Think about the victims who will carry their trauma forever while their abuser walks free. I need you to pause here. Take a moment. Process what you just heard, because it's important. It's important to understand that the internet isn't just a tool for connection and information. It's also a weapon, a platform for the worst humanity has to offer. And sometimes, the people responsible face no real consequences. If you're still watching, if you haven't clicked away in disgust or despair, then you're someone who can handle the truth. Someone who doesn't look away from uncomfortable realities. And I need people like you to subscribe, to share this video, to spread awareness about these issues, because silence enables these predators. Ignorance protects them. Only by talking about this, by exposing it, can we hope to prevent it. Now let's talk about something more recent, something that shows how the dark web continues to evolve and evade law enforcement. Archetype market. Unlike the Silk Road, which was run by Ross Ulbricht primarily for profit, Archetype Market was founded by a man named Mark Hegemister, who genuinely believed in drug legalization. He saw the Silk Road's success and thought he could do it better, more ethically, more safely. Mark grew up in Germany after the fall of the Berlin Wall, grew up around poverty and drugs, started experimenting young, had a rough adolescence, but then he discovered hallucinogens, had experiences that changed his worldview, stopped drinking, started pursuing his childhood dreams, and developed a philosophy about drugs. He believed they weren't inherently evil. That prohibition caused more harm than the substances themselves, that adults should have the freedom to choose what they consume. So in 2020, he launched Archetype Market, a dark web marketplace exclusively for drugs. No weapons, no stolen goods, no exploitation content, just drugs. He studied every mistake Ross Ulbricht made, used encrypted communications, implemented Monero cryptocurrency for untraceable transactions, created layers of security that kept him hidden for 5 years. 5 years. That's unheard of in the dark web world. Most drug markets get shut down within months. But Archetype Market thrived, became the longest-running online drug marketplace in history, served customers across multiple continents, moved millions of dollars in products, all while Mark remained completely anonymous until Operation Deep Sentinel, a joint effort between Europol and police agencies from 44 countries. They spent years tracking him, following digital breadcrumbs, building their case. In 2025, they finally arrested him, shut down Archetype Market, added another site to the graveyard of dark web marketplaces. Mark is currently in jail awaiting trial. And while some might sympathize with his philosophy about drug legalization, the reality is that people died because of his site. Families were destroyed, lives ruined. Good intentions don't negate harmful consequences, and the dark web continues its cycle. One site shuts down, 3 more appear. The war never ends. But enough about the dark web for now. Let's talk about something more personal, more intimate, something that could happen to anyone. Stalking, the slow, methodical destruction of someone's sense of safety. The nightmare that law enforcement often can't address until it's too late. A woman worked at a store, regular retail job, dealt with customers every day. Most were fine, normal, forgettable. But one customer stood out. A man who came in frequently, always pleasant, always friendly. But something about him felt off. She couldn't explain it. Just a gut feeling. An instinct that something wasn't right about his behavior. The way he looked at her. The way he always seemed to know her schedule. Then he stopped coming in. She felt relieved. Maybe he moved. Maybe he found a different store. Life went on. Months passed. She forgot about him. Until one night, late, she heard knocking at her door. She looked through the peephole. It was him, the customer from the store, standing on her porch, knocking. She didn't answer, stayed completely silent, heart pounding, trying not to make a sound. He knocked again and again, then started ringing the doorbell, over and over, insistent, demanding. She called the police, whispering into her phone, terrified he'd hear her. By the time they arrived, he was gone, vanished like he was never there. The police took a report, but said there wasn't much they could do. He knocked on a door. That's not a crime. Call us if he makes threats or tries to break in. But he came back the next night and the night after that. Sometimes just knocking, sometimes ringing the bell for minutes at a time, sometimes leaving notes under her door, strange, rambling messages about how they were meant to be together, how she couldn't hide from destiny, how he'd wait for her forever. She installed security cameras, changed her routines, varied her schedule, but he always found her, always knew where she'd be. She filed more police reports, kept documentation, built a case, but the police couldn't do anything without direct threats, and he was smart enough not to threaten her explicitly. Just show up. Just let his presence be the threat. Then she discovered something that made her blood freeze. He'd been tracking her for years, long before he ever walked into her store. He had files on her, photos taken from a distance, records of her movements, her habits, her friends, her family. He'd been building this obsession for years, and she never knew. The thread ends with her preparing for his trial, dealing with PTSD every time she hears a doorbell, even on television, even in movies. That sound triggers panic attacks, flashbacks, fear. This is what stalking does. It doesn't just invade your physical space. It invades your mind, makes you afraid in your own home, makes ordinary sounds into triggers for terror. And we don't know how the trial ended, if he was convicted, if she's safe now. The thread just stops. Another mystery, another unresolved story, another victim left to wonder if she'll ever truly be free. Here's another stalking case with a modern twist. A woman started hearing voices through her Amazon Echo. At first, she thought it was a malfunction, maybe interference from a neighbor's device. These things happen with smart home technology. But then the voice said her name, new details about her life, things only someone watching her would know. She checked her Alexa app, found 4 devices connected to her account. She only owned one Echo. 2 Amazon Fire Sticks showed as online. She only had one Fire Stick. Someone had hacked her account, linked unauthorized devices, was listening to everything in her home, watching everything she did. She called Amazon. They escalated to their security team, removed the unauthorized devices, changed all her passwords, implemented 2-factor authentication. She thought it was over, but it wasn't. The stalker started contacting her through social media, new accounts, different platforms, always knowing where she'd been, what she'd done, listing stores she visited, restaurants she ate at, proof that the surveillance wasn't just digital. He was physically following her too. She reported it to police. They said they couldn't do much without direct threats, suggested she document everything, keep records. But what good are records when you're living in constant fear? She became hypervigilant, checked every device, monitored every account, watched her surroundings constantly, and eventually she had to accept it. Accept that someone was watching, stalking, following, and there was nothing she could do to make it stop completely. That's her reality now. That's the nightmare she lives every day. And her thread ends with that resignation, that acceptance, that this is just her life now. We're in the home stretch now. If you've made it this far, you're part of something special. You're someone who can face the darkness without flinching. Someone who understands that these stories matter, that these victims matter. Before we finish, I need you to do 3 things. 1. Hit that subscribe button. 2. Smash that like. 3. Leave a comment telling me which story affected you the most, because engagement keeps this channel alive, keeps these stories being told. Let me end with something that happened in front of hundreds of people, something that was recorded, something that exists somewhere but will never be released to the public. Abraham Biggs, 19 years old, November 19th, 2008. He opened his computer and made a post on a bodybuilding forum he frequented. The title read, "Ask a guy who's going to overdose tonight anything." He wasn't joking. He listed the medications he planned to take, wrote a brief explanation of why he was doing this, and shared a link to a Justin TV live stream. He was inviting people to watch him die. At first, people thought it was a prank, a troll seeking attention. But as the stream went live, as hundreds of people joined, they realized he was serious. Abraham sat in front of the camera with pills spread out before him. He wanted to talk, wanted someone to convince him not to do it, wanted his online family, the people he felt closest to in the world, to save him. But instead, they encouraged him. Do it already. Stop being dramatic. Prove you're not lying. The chat filled with people egging him on, laughing at him, treating his life like entertainment. A few people tried to stop it, tried to find his address, tried to call emergency services, but they didn't know where he was, didn't have enough information. And while they scrambled to help, the majority of viewers wanted him to go through with it, wanted to see what would happen, wanted the show to continue. Abraham took the pills, laid down on his bed. The camera kept rolling, the chat kept scrolling, and he never woke up. By the time emergency services arrived, 12 hours after his initial post, Abraham Biggs was dead. The stream was still live, about 200 people still watching, some expressing shock, others expressing disappointment that it was over. The footage was automatically saved by Justin TV, existed on their servers for some amount of time, but after massive public backlash, the company removed it, destroyed it, claimed they would be more vigilant in the future. Justin TV eventually became Twitch, and those policies evolved into what we see today. But the memory of Abraham Biggs remains, a reminder of what the internet is capable of. The cruelty, the callousness, the complete lack of empathy that anonymity enables. Think about that. Hundreds of people watched a teenager die. Many encouraged it, treated it like entertainment, and most of them faced no consequences, went back to their lives, probably don't even remember it anymore. But Abraham's family remembers, his friends remember, and those who genuinely tried to save him probably carry that guilt forever. These are the threads that never got explained, the mysteries that remain unsolved, the victims who never got justice, the confessions that led nowhere, the cries for help that went unanswered. This is what lurks behind the anonymity of the internet, behind usernames and throwaway accounts and deleted posts. Real people, real pain, real consequences. So what do we do with this information? How do we process these stories? First, we remember. We don't let these victims be forgotten. Abraham Biggs, the family terrorized in their Victorian house, the women stalked for years, the children exploited on dark websites. They matter. Their stories matter. Second, we stay vigilant. We protect our privacy, our devices, our loved ones. We take threats seriously. We report suspicious behavior. We trust our instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't ignore that feeling. Third, we build community. We support each other. We believe victims. We hold perpetrators accountable because these threads exist in isolation. But we don't have to. We can create spaces that are safe, that are supportive, that refuse to tolerate harassment or abuse or cruelty. But before we wrap up, I need to share a few more threads that haunt me. Stories that didn't fit neatly into categories. Mysteries that defy explanation. Because the internet is vast and its horrors are endless. Let me tell you about the organs. Someone posted on Reddit about finding a liver on their front porch, just sitting there. Fresh, intact, no blood trail, no signs of animal activity, just a liver placed deliberately on their doorstep. They assumed it was a prank, called the police, who shrugged it off. Kids being kids, probably. Halloween pranks getting out of hand. But then it happened again. Another organ, different type, same clean placement, same deliberate positioning. They talked to their neighbors, started asking around. Did anyone else experience this? And one neighbor said yes, multiple times. He'd found organs in his fenced dog pen, behind his shed, always intact, always placed, not dropped or dragged. He thought it was teenagers too, installed cameras, but the cameras never caught anything. The organs just appeared when no one was looking. The original poster installed cameras as well, shared photos in their thread, and the photos are genuinely disturbing. You can see two organs sitting on concrete. One appears to be a heart, the other a liver, both perfectly intact, both too large to be from common household pets. The immediate question everyone asks, are these human organs? The thread exploded with speculation. Serial killer leaving trophies, cult performing rituals, medical student disposing of cadaver parts, black market organ trafficking. Every theory more disturbing than the last, but no resolution ever came. The police investigated, took the organs for analysis, and then nothing. No updates, no arrests, no explanation. The original poster made one final comment 5 years ago. Said they posted in a cult subreddit asking if this behavior matched any known ritual practices. Some responses suggested it might be related to occult activities. Others said probably not. But no definitive answers. And then silence. The poster never updated again. Never told us if it stopped. Never revealed what the organs were. Just another mystery. Another thread that ends without closure. And here's what makes it even more disturbing. This isn't an isolated incident. Multiple people across different regions have reported similar experiences. Organs appearing on their property, always intact, always placed deliberately, never explained. Is it the same person traveling? Is it multiple people following the same ritual? Is it something else entirely? We don't know. And that's the most terrifying part. Now let me share something that'll make you question your own perception of reality. A user posted about experiencing bizarre technological glitches. Their Fire TV turning on by itself. Channels changing randomly. Volume fluctuating without input. They assumed it was interference or a faulty device. Normal technical issues, nothing to worry about. But then they started hearing their name, whispered through their speakers. At first, they thought they imagined it. Auditory hallucinations brought on by stress or lack of sleep. But it kept happening, clear as day. Their name, spoken by a voice they didn't recognize. A male voice, deep, deliberate. They checked all their devices, unplugged everything, reset their network. The voice stopped for a while. Then it came back, but this time the voice knew things, personal details, their schedule, their habits, places they'd been. The voice would comment on their day. You went to the grocery store. You had coffee at that new place. You were late for work. Proof that someone was watching, listening, tracking their every move. They discovered unauthorized devices linked to their accounts. Amazon Fire Sticks they didn't own. Echo devices they didn't purchase. Someone had gained access to their entire smart home ecosystem, was using it to surveil them, to terrorize them. They reported it, got the devices removed, changed every password, implemented every security measure available. But the harassment didn't stop. It evolved. The person started contacting them through social media, creating new accounts faster than they could block them, sending messages listing everywhere they'd been that week, every store, every restaurant, every friend's house. Proof that the surveillance extended beyond their devices. Proof that someone was physically following them. And here's the truly horrifying part. They accepted it. After months of fighting, of reporting, of trying to stop it, they simply accepted that this was their life now. Someone was watching. Someone was following. And there was nothing they could do to make it stop completely. They just had to learn to live with it, to adapt, to survive in a constant state of vigilance. The thread ends with that resignation, that exhausted acceptance, and it's heartbreaking. Because this is what prolonged harassment does. It doesn't just scare you, it breaks you, wears you down until you can't fight anymore, until you just accept it as normal, as the price of existing in the modern world. Let me tell you about the roommate who stared. We touched on this earlier, but there's more to the story, more details that make it even more disturbing. The original poster described their roommate's behavior escalating over weeks. Started with the late-night television watching, sitting in complete darkness, not reacting to anything on screen, just staring with empty eyes. Then the bedroom doorway incident. The poster woke up to find their roommate standing there, perfectly still, not moving, not blinking, just standing and staring. When asked what they were doing, the roommate turned and walked away without a word. No explanation, no acknowledgement that this behavior was strange. The workplace stalking started shortly after. The poster would leave work and see their roommate across the street. Same spot every day, same vacant stare, same complete stillness. They'd drive away and the roommate would still be standing there. Hours later, when the poster returned home, the roommate would be there too, as if they'd teleported. as if they hadn't moved all day. The poster's sister agreed to mediate, to confront the roommate and figure out what was happening. But when they looked out the window to head back to the apartment, there he was, the roommate, across the street from the sister's building. How did he know they were there? How did he find them? The poster had never mentioned their sister's address, had never discussed visiting her. Yet somehow, the roommate knew exactly where they were. The sister went down to confront him. The poster watched from the window, watched them talk, saw the roommate's lips moving, but couldn't hear the words. And then the thread ends, just stops. No update about what was said, no explanation of what happened next, no resolution of any kind. The poster's account went dark, never posted again, never responded to the thousands of comments begging for an update. People tracked down the sister's social media, tried to reach out, asked what happened, but she never responded either. Both of them just disappeared from the internet, deleted their accounts, vanished completely, which raises the obvious question: what did the roommates say that made them both disappear? What was so disturbing that they felt the need to erase their online presence entirely? Some speculate that the roommate made threats. Others think the conversation revealed something so disturbing that they went into hiding. Some even theorize that something bad happened and the accounts were deleted by someone else, by authorities, by family members, by the roommate himself. We'll never know. And that uncertainty, that lack of closure, is what makes this thread so haunting. Here's another one that'll stick with you. Someone received a note in their mailbox. No postage, no return address, hand-delivered. The handwriting was disguised, clearly written with the opposite hand to avoid recognition. The message itself was vague but threatening. Something about watching, about knowing, about waiting, and an eye, crudely drawn but deliberate, a symbol that suggested someone was always watching. The poster shared a photo of the note. The community analyzed every detail: the paper type, the ink, the handwriting style, the spelling errors. Someone suggested checking neighbors' social media for similar spelling mistakes. Others recommended installing cameras immediately, calling the police, not staying alone, taking this seriously because even if it was a prank, the intent was to threaten, to frighten, to make them feel unsafe in their own home. The poster followed the advice, filed a police report, talked to neighbors, set up security cameras, made one more update thanking everyone for their help and suggestions, and then posted one final message: "I'm going to handle this on my own. Thanks for everybody who has been nice, but posting here was just dumb. Bye." And then nothing. Account deleted. No further updates. No way to know if they're okay. 5 years later, people still comment on that thread, still ask what happened, still wonder if the poster is safe. Did they solve it? Did the threats escalate? Did something terrible happen? Or did they just decide that sharing their fear online made them more vulnerable? That anonymity on Reddit isn't really anonymous? That whoever left that note might be watching the thread, reading the comments, learning more about them with every update? That's the paradox of seeking help online. You want answers. You want support. You want someone to tell you you're not crazy. But every detail you share is information that could be used against you. Every photo you post might reveal your location. every update might help your stalker track you down. So sometimes, the smartest thing to do is disappear, delete everything, start over, and hope that silence protects you better than visibility ever could. Let's talk about lost media one more time. Because there's a case that still haunts researchers, that still generates theories and speculation. The McMartin preschool trial tapes. We discussed this earlier, but the depth of this tragedy deserves more attention. 360 children interviewed, all of them on tape. Days and days of footage showing trained professionals manipulating young minds, leading questions, suggestive techniques, psychological coercion. These tapes documented one of the worst cases of mass hysteria in American history. Showed exactly how innocent children can be convinced they witnessed things that never happened. How authority figures can implant false memories. How fear and panic can create evidence from nothing. And all of that footage was destroyed. Every tape, every interview, every piece of evidence showing how this travesty unfolded. Some say the tapes were destroyed to protect the children, to spare them the embarrassment of having their manipulated testimony preserved forever. Others say it was to hide the negligence, to erase proof of how badly the investigators failed, how they prioritized conviction over truth, how they destroyed lives in pursuit of monsters that didn't exist. Whatever the reason, those tapes are gone, and with them, crucial evidence of how not to conduct child interviews, how not to investigate abuse allegations, how not to let fear override reason. Ray Buckey spent 5 years in jail during the pre-trial. 5 years of his life taken, his reputation destroyed, his family torn apart, all because of lies fed to children by adults who should have known better. And when he was finally acquitted, when the truth came out, there was no real apology, no compensation, no acknowledgement of the injustice, just a quiet verdict and a media circus that moved on to the next sensational story. The children suffered too. Imagine growing up believing you were violated when you weren't, believing you witnessed horrific crimes that never occurred, carrying that trauma, that shame, that confusion, and then learning as an adult that it was all fabricated, that you were manipulated, that your memories are false. How do you process that? How do you trust yourself again? How do you know what's real? This is why those tapes matter, why their destruction is such a tragedy, because they could have been used to train future investigators, to show what not to do, to prevent this from happening again. But instead, they're gone, lost to history, and all we have are transcripts and testimony describing what was on them. Second-hand accounts of first-hand manipulation, and finally, we keep talking about this. We don't let these stories disappear into the void. We share them, we discuss them, we learn from them, because silence protects predators. Ignorance enables abuse. Only by confronting these uncomfortable truths can we hope to prevent future tragedies. If you're still here, thank you. Thank you for listening, for bearing witness, for being part of a community that refuses to look away. Hit that subscribe button one final time, turn on notifications, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Because this conversation doesn't end when the video stops. It continues in the comments, in the discussions, in the awareness we spread. There are thousands more threads out there, thousands more mysteries waiting to be explored, thousands more stories that need to be told. And I'll be here, digging through the darkness, bringing you the truth that others won't touch. Until next time, stay safe, trust your instincts, lock your doors, monitor your devices, and remember, the internet never forgets. Every thread, every post, every mystery, it's all still out there, waiting. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next investigation into the unexplained.